You're listening to Your Purpose and Business podcast, where we connect you to possibilities. I'm your host, Raquel Walters, a two-time best-selling author, millennial speaker, corporate trainer, advocate, and clinical social worker at heart. Your Purpose and Business podcast will connect you with everyday successful people who will share their impactful stories, insights, challenges, failures, and triumphs on how they're navigating the working world, whether by climbing the 9-to-5 corporate ladder or starting, growing, and scaling their business. So grab your pen and notebook because you'll want to implement the nuggets and tools, strategies shared in every episode. Class is in session. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Your Purpose and Business podcast. My name is Raquel Walters, and I'm here with the lovely Tammy Reese. So Tammy Reese is a celebrity interviewer who conquers the digital media space, giving flowers to those who have made a positive impact in the world. The loss of her mother, then a global pandemic immediately following, didn't stop Tammy Reese from doing what she was born to do, be a storyteller. Grief, tragedy, setbacks, and a major readjustment in life all have been a part of Tammy's story, which is still being written, which got her to the point now of triumph, victory, and her destiny to pay tribute to icons, legends, influencers, and those making a social impact as an homage to those who have been an inspiration around the world. Storytelling through various art forms is her life purpose. We all have a story to tell and share to educate, empower, uplift, and inspire others. She does just that through her unique interviews, which explore rarely asked questions that ignites empowerment, change, healing, thought leadership, fun, and entertainment. Tammy was honored with the 40 Under 40 Award in 2008 and the WCNY PBS Makers Women Who Make America Award in 2019. In 2020, Sheen Magazine featured Tammy as a woman in multimedia on the rise. Other media features as of late include Inspire Magazine, Medium, Vocal Media, Swag Her Magazine, Pretty Woman, Hustle Magazine, True Urban, Culture Magazine, We Empower Magazine, Shout Out Atlanta, and many more. Notable celebrity influencers interviews include but are not limited to Geena Davis, Megan Good and Franklin, Matt Cedeño, Leon, Nelly, Courtney Kemp, Omar Epps, and many, many more. Miss Tammy Reese, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you on the Your Purpose and Business podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Raquel. I never heard someone actually read my bio, and it almost teared me up. Like, wow, I've done all this. Wow. And it was so much more in the bio. And I know time is limited, but thank you for that warm welcome. I truly appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on here. And Tammy, before I get further we dive into our conversation, I always ask my guests, tell us one thing, because you're very accomplished and you've been able to do so by connecting with, celebrity influencers and obviously you've been able to share your life experiences along the way, which I want to get into, but tell us something about yourself that's not included in the bio.
Something that is not included in the bio is that with all those accomplishments, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. I'm very vocal about that. My mental health issues. I have great coping skills. I have a great support system. I have a therapist. I try to let Black women in general, especially them who are public figures, who are in entertainment or in the media industry, to not be ashamed because the mental health diagnosis doesn't define you. And there's so many stigmas that need to be ended. And a lot of people are scared to share their truths or afraid to tell someone that they have these diagnoses because they think they'll be blacklisted or people would think they're crazy or something like that. They don't know the trauma that one has been through or life experiences that they went through to get them where they are or get these diagnoses. So that's something that's not in my bio, but I often talk about it when I'm interviewed.
And I'm so happy that you shared that, because especially in today's society, one of my belief is that everyone has a touch of some sort of depression, sadness, anxiety that's going on, because we're dealing with so much in today's world. And thank you for sharing that, and thank you for letting us know too that you're also sharing that with the world and advocating for more women, especially in the minority communities. So it's okay to go out and seek help. Well, it's okay, and it's okay to speak about it, right?
Yes.
So thank you. you. So shifting gears a little bit, Tammy, this is a Your Purpose and Business podcast. And, I have to ask you this question. It's a big one. But what purpose do you think you have in the world today?
Definitely being a storyteller through different ways. I wear many hats. I wear them very well. Sometimes I have to put one hat on the shelf while I'm wearing one hat. I'm an actress, I'm a writer, I'm a director, I'm a publicist, and I'm a journalist. So I can storytell through acting, through writing, through directing, through journalism, through public relations. My life purpose is to be a storyteller to empower and inspire others. On the public relations side, I love getting people media coverage. If they're getting a radio interview, a podcast interview, a magazine interview, and me not even getting the credit that I got them those media placements is just so fulfilling. Me helping someone else tell their story or grow their brand or company or talents. Um, During the pandemic, well, before the pandemic, I've produced, written, directed commercials, PSAs on social issues, short films. So have you not video directed a lot of events. During the pandemic, I excelled in the digital media space, focusing on PR and media relations, talents. But yes, being a storyteller is definitely my life purpose.
Yes, and I can see how storytelling, you have used that or utilized that throughout all of your other multi passions that you've been able to monetize as well, which is acting, writing, PR, right? And so take us on a little summarized version, if you may, on the journey that led you into these multi passions, which is a part of your purpose, you know?
Yeah, I started my career as an actress. There's a company here in upstate New York called the Media Unit TV and Stage Production Company. Before it dismantled in 2019, the company was open for over 40 years. I was in the company for 8 years. I started as a stage actress. We would travel and do 60 live stage shows a year, all on social issue topics like racism, HIV awareness, bullying, the list goes on. We also produced a weekly television show out of our public access station here and was called Rough Times Live. I was a host, I was a director, camera operator. I eventually went to school for media studies, and then I started creating my own videos on social issue topics. I was inspired by the company I was in. So I've written and directed my own videos on those social issue topics. Then I fell into PR later on in life. A friend of mine who's a renowned publicist, his name's Eric Volweiler, he was like, wow, you should think about public relations. You're really good talking to people, networking with people. You're passionate about seeing other people win. So I started dabbling in it, and I created my own company, Visionary Minds, Public Relations and Media. And ever since, like, I tried to have my focus on people who are not known, not famous, people who may not have a voice, may not have resources to get in any type of media publications. And it's so great because a lot of people want to, or they feel scared that they won't get accepted. No one's going to like their talent. No one's going to like their company. And they come to me and they feel so appreciated. They feel so seen. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to stick with this public relations thing. It's definitely working. And on the flip side, I'm also a journalist.
Mhm.
I love interviewing people through like how we're interviewing now via Zoom, or I'm also a podcast co-host for New York Women Film and Television. I write for numerous media outlets. I'm also a publisher of Biz Boost Magazine, the editor-in-chief of Franchise Magazine. I do so much. Sometimes people are said their head are spinning because I do so much, but I really love it all. I really do in front of the scenes, behind the scenes. But acting was my first love.
Mhm.
And right now, journalism is just like a second child of mine. Because I have a son, a 12-year-old. But yes, I would say acting is my first love, and journalism is definitely a second child of mine.
Awesome, awesome. And Tammy, I mean, I'm a girl that I'm all for living out your multi passions. I'm very passionate about that. And, society tend to steer people away from, doing too much. Like, how they say this term that, a jack of all trades is a master of none, which that's where it cut off. But it also goes to say it's better than only having one trade, if you should listen or
Mhm.
research the rest of the phrase, right? But the point I'm making is that speak to the importance of people tapping into their talents, being able to express themselves in every single interest that they have. I don't know if that was one of the things that was told to you, or maybe not, but if you could speak to the idea of empowering especially our millennials, younger folks, like it's important, because if you don't dibble and dabble, you won't know what you're going to be good at, and you don't know how that pathway could eventually work for you for your future goals, if that makes sense. So go ahead and speak to that, please.
There's no right or wrong answer. Some people are not equipped or able or mentally stable to take on all these tasks, and that's okay.
Yes.
Some people need to just focus on one talent or two. Some people need to have a million talents, because it gives them life purpose and fulfillment. There's definitely no wrong answer. It's the way you carry it. Like I was saying, before the pandemic, I was doing all this directing and acting. But when the pandemic hit, I wanted to be safe. I'm like, what else can I do that's safe? Digital media, the internet was still working. So I started, interviewing people over the phone, over Zoom. A lot of publicists started reaching out to me to interview their celebrity and interview their clients. I had to put those director and acting hats to the side and focus on public relations and journalism. Now that the road is open before our eyes, I'm missing directing, I'm missing acting. I want to get back in. This is how I started my career. And then the beginning of my career, being in the media unit, TV and stage production company, I've done it all. I was directing, acting, and writing, and doing all this at the same time because this company was just universal. Everyone was doing it all. So I'm used to it. I'm very used to it. But for the millennials, I would say, do what you're comfortable with. Do what your time allows as well. Don't feel pressure to take on so much, but don't let anyone demean you or make you feel bad because you want to do it all.
Yes, yes, I love that. And like you said, absolutely right. There's no right or wrong answer. For some people, know yourself at the end of the day.
Yep.
I think that's what it is. Know yourself, what you can take on.
You know what you got time and what you don't got
Yes.
time for.
Yes. No, that's so true. That's so true. And so Tammy, when was it that you kind of realized that, okay, I'm interested in acting, I do writing, I'm interested in PR, journalism, but at the core of all of that, I'm great at networking. Was that something that you knew you were great at, like meeting people, connecting with them, or did somebody point that out to you that like you need to go into PR, for instance?
Right. The friend I was mentioning, Eric Bowweiler, he actually noticed how great I was at events, especially him knowing that I had anxiety and depression. And I'm an introvert. But when he seen me out at these events, like, wow, look how you're maneuvering and how these connections you're making, these industry friends you're making, like, wow, you are really great at networking. And I never thought of it. I just thought, me being a nice person, I want to, hey, how you doing? I'm Tammy. Who are you? What do you do? This is what I do. It was just normal to me. I didn't think of it as networking. Now, as I excel in the digital media space, I call it internetworking. I'm always on Zoom. I'm always emailing, someone, getting to know what they do, making introductory connections and letting them know what I do as well. I'm all about internetworking because it's the easiest way. You can do it faster. You can't always travel all the time, everywhere, and be at every event. So the easiest, more convenient way for me is to internet work.
Yes, I love that. Intern network. You're probably gonna have to like trademark that or something. I love that though. Intern network. But so Tammy, so the business aspect of everything that you do, because we do have listeners that are aspiring to either start a side gig or probably already have one and looking to grow and scale it, right? And so for you, the business aspect of it, tell us like the pathway you took to building out your businesses. I know that maybe some didn't start out where you were able to earn income at first, but then if you could just give us a summarized version of the processes that you took to make sure that you are also operating a business even while you are displaying your many talents to the world.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely was not easy at first. When I first started Visionary Minds, Public Relations and Media, it took me over a year to even monetize my talents. I was doing a lot of pro bono work. I was doing a lot of bartering services. You help me, I help you, helps both our talents or brands grow. So eventually, local agencies in my area was reaching out to me to film their events or write content for their websites or write article blogs to promote their companies or producing their commercials for their brands. And then the checks started rolling in. Um, During the pandemic, I'm blessed to have, still income coming in for writing, for journalism, public relations, for sure. But sometimes it's not always easy. There's weeks, it's been like a month at one point where I didn't have any new clients. This past week, I've gained 5 new clients. But a couple weeks ago, I'm like, where am I at? It's some days are better than others. Some weeks, some months are better than others, especially when you're an entrepreneur, you're self-employed, especially holidays are coming. People are it's a lot of spending, but also it's like a lot of people may not come to you because it's the holidays and their focuses are on their families or bills or other things that may be more important than media services at the time. But yeah, take it one step at a time. Don't give up. Keep promoting yourself out there. A lot of people give up easily if it's the money isn't coming fast enough, if the opportunities aren't coming fast enough. Just keep putting yourself out there. If this is what you love, you're passionate about it, you're gonna stick with it.
Absolutely agree with that. I co-sign that. And so, Tammy, tell us about some of the challenges or failures that you've faced in attaining some of the goals that you have. And you could choose from, maybe a recent goal that you have or had in the past and it didn't go as planned out.
Oh yeah. Before the pandemic, I had wrapped up a short film that I wrote, directed, and acted in. And before we wrapped it, that was the second time I filmed that 30-minute short film over. I had to do it all over because the footage was lost. That was a major challenge. And I almost was like, forget this. I'm not doing this over. I had to get my cast together, the locations, craft services to make sure they eat, write the script, make sure the equipment, costumes, makeup is set, just all this stuff. And then all the footage is gone. And then an actor backed out. So I had to recast the actor and all that. But the universe is going to work. It all worked out. I recast. The rest of the cast was all for it, and we reshot it and we finished it. And my goal was to get it in the film festival circuit, and then the pandemic hit. So that's just something I want to get back to. I was saying earlier, I really miss directing, filmmaking, and acting a whole lot. My season right now, it just has been journalism and public relations, but just having to start something over when you work so hard to get something complete, that's just a part of the business. Everything won't go as planned. It's a tough pill to swallow. Only the strong will survive through that.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing with that because oftentimes, we people see the successes out there, they don't realize that a lot of times there's a lot of things that don't go according to plan, there's some failures, there's some goals that weren't hit, especially in the business world. It's sometimes unpredictable, right? And so the audience need to know that, especially the ones who are looking into entrepreneurship. And so for you, Tammy, if I could ask you, is there anything strategy or sort of steps that you take that has supported you along your entrepreneurial path so far?
Absolutely. Having mentors,
Mm-hmm.
people who know more than you or been there, done that. Even with all the experience, over 20 years experience in entertainment and media that I have, I still don't know it all. I'm constantly learning. Technology is always changing. You have to keep up with the trends, have to know what's going on, for sure. Also, just having your tribe, even if they're not into the same field as you, just a support system that keeps you going, but also going to tell you the truth. Like, you should have did that better. Just think about doing this differently and take constructive criticism. You need real people around you, family, my fiance, my siblings, very supportive, my best friends, and especially colleagues in this industry, my business partners, surely for sure. You don't want a lot of yes people around you. You want people to keep you humble so your ego doesn't give you a big head. You definitely need real people around you.
Yes, yes, I love that. So support is very important, and the right support, mentorship, family support, all of that are so, key, major key. I call them, as far as recipes for success. And so, Tammy, you were honored with the 40 under 40 award in 2018. That's a big deal. How did
Yeah.
that feel?
I honestly, I felt like, why me? And I every time someone asks me that, and they be like, really? I'm like, seriously, because at that time, um, there were so many other people getting awards that night, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm just in awe of these people. Like, why am I here? Like in my pictures and stuff, and like, you need to be here. You deserve to be here. This is why you're here. And I'm like, wow, I have my parents there. Thank God, my mom died last year. My mom got to be there, my dad, one of my best friends, my fiance, and it happened to fall on my fiance's birthday. And it
Mhm.
was just so beautiful. It was an elegant ceremony. They asked us beforehand, what is our favorite song? So everyone got to walk to the award with their favorite song playing in the background, with a big picture on a jumbotron of you, and they read your bio and come accept the award and take pictures with community leaders. And it just was so beautiful and so special. And I'll never forget it as long as I live.
Wow, that sounds amazing, and congratulations again. And
Thank
another
you.
highlight, I know you have many awards, but another highlight is the WCNY PBS Makers Women Who Make America Award in
Wow.
2019. Like, share with us how that felt as well.
Thank you. That one blew me away. I was the only Black woman to get an award that day. And I was the youngest
Mhm.
woman to get the award that day. And it was so special because it was at the Women's Rights National Historical Park in Seneca Falls in New York State. And that was the foundation of the women's rights movement. And it was on International Women's Day. So
Mm.
it was just powerful. And all I can explain, it was just powerful to get an award to be the youngest and only Black woman on International Women's Day at the place where the women's rights movement started in New York State.
And then on
It,
top of that is International Women's Day. That is amazing. Amazing.
thank you.
Wow. Wow. So Tammy, share with us your business, how you help. I know that you're a journalist, but you do PR, but it's all media. That's the beauty of it. It's all
Yes,
media,
yes.
right?
I provide a multimedia experience
Yes.
through different ways, through Visionary Minds, public relations, and media. If you're an entertainer, if you're someone with social impact, advocate, if you say, if you will, if you have a business, basically you'll come to me, we'll read your bio, we'll see your website, what you accomplished, what you plan to accomplish, and we'll plan a strategy for a press run to keep you getting buzz. If you want to be on podcasts, want to be in the newspaper, want to be on a local TV show. Basically, it's for people who never had media publications or people who have little to none. My goal is to serve the underdog, the person who doesn't have a voice, someone who needs to be heard, who doesn't have a back end in that support system. On the media side as a journalist, I'm always contacted to interview high profile celebrities and influencers. And a lot of people tend to be scared to approach me. They think, oh, because I interview these people, that I wouldn't interview them. No, I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what your title is. I don't care how many awards you got. A person is a person, and everyone got a story to tell.
Yes.
So I don't ever want anyone to feel standoffish. They think that I wouldn't be able to tell their story because I've interviewed people who aren't known just as well as people I've interviewed people who won Oscars and Emmys.
Mm-hmm.
So providing
And
the multimedia experience. I'm also a publisher of Biz Boost Magazine.
yes.
So that helps brands get their name out. Also, we're currently booking Instagram live interviews after the holidays. And the other media publications I write for, We Empower Magazine, Swag Her Magazine, Heart of Hollywood Magazine, Culture Focus Magazine. There's so many avenues that people come from me that I can get them in publication to keep their brand buzzed and going and known out there.
Mm-hmm. And how soon would you say for business owners to seek out media attention?
Immediately, absolutely immediately. there's never enough press.
Mhm.
You have to keep the buzz going. I know entrepreneurs, CEOs can get busy and they don't have time for interviews. You have to make time, because if no one knows what you do, how they're going to know? You have to, and that's where the publicists come in. That's where the journalist comes in to tell your story. How did you aspire to become an entrepreneur? Um, what do you do? What services do you provide? Do you need help with this business? What type of help do you need? What do you want your legacy to be? What you're currently working on? What was your childhood like? What's some super fun facts about yourself that people may not be aware of? Like, we want to know not only about the business, but as people, as humans, who are the most important people in their life, what they like to do in their spare time. These are, because there's so many journalists out there who, I want to know the tea. I want to know who you beefing with, who your boo is, all that. I'm not for that. I'm all for positivity and helping brands grow.
Right, right, right. I love it. I love it, Tammy. And so for the audience or the listeners who want to connect with you, do you have any programs that you're offering, or is just strictly obviously putting someone in the media based on, where they fall?
Basically, where they fall will line you up strategically. It has to make sense, right?
Mhm.
It definitely has to make sense. So if you're a doctor, you may not want to be in an entertainment magazine,
Right.
right? You want to be something like We Empower magazine, something that shows inspiration of what you do, because you're providing a service to the masses. It's a profound profession that you're in. It has to be strategic. So when you come to me, I'll definitely make it make sense in your press run.
Awesome, awesome. And so, what advice or recommendations or even action steps, Tammy, you can share with regards to staying focused on your goals that someone who can identify with your experience follow? Because I know oftentimes, even if someone is a 9 to 5 worker solely, but they have their family, they're busy. But also, if they have their family, they're a 9 to 5 worker, but they're juggling a side gig, a business as well. Even somebody working on full time, we're all busy. That's basically what I'm saying. What are some of the action steps that because we have to attend to everybody, and I just wanted to just make it clear, because a lot of times people think that, oh, because you're just working a job, that means you're not busy. But then there's other things outside of that job, family, that you have to attend to. Some people are going to school, right? We're juggling a lot in today's society, and just what it is. But for you, Tammy, what are some of the steps that you can give that you could share with the audience as it pertains to staying focused?
I love this question. And, me being a digital media guru, if you have it,
Yes.
I
Of
work from
course,
home a lot.
media guru. What are you? Don't play yourself.
I work
Hashtag
from
media
home a lot.
guru.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I work from home a lot. And a lot of people are like, oh, you home, girl, you got time. Like,
No.
wait, what? No,
Where?
always interviewing. I'm always on a phone call, Zoom call, email, internet working. I'm always talking to a client, making sure the work is getting done for a client, inquiring with a client, or I'm being interviewed as well, or I'm always writing. It's constant work, even though it's from home. But I'm a mother. I'm a fiance, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. I'm myself. So I have to make sure that I balance it the best way I can. And my advice would be to make sure you take time for you. Don't be scared to say no. Don't be scared to take a break. Don't be scared to, step back for a little while. I exude myself in self-care with nature days and
Love
listening
it.
to music. Those are my happy places. I put on some music, I'm relaxed. And if I'm in nature, I'm just rejuvenated in heaven. You have to take time for yourself, because everyone does need tending to the kids, the spouse, the cat, the dog, the fish, your clients, everyone needs to be attended to, but don't forget yourself.
Right, right. I love it. And you answered my other question that I was gonna ask you, what type of routines or rituals you have. And you said nature walks, which is so important, reconnecting with nature. I love those too. But is
I'm
there
obsessed.
anything else? Yeah,
I'm
I
obsessed
love
with nature. But music for
it.
sure. Music. Just channel away from social media, from clients, from everyone. Put my headphones on, or just blasting. I love all type of music, from rock and roll to country to old school hip hop, you name it. But music gets me in my zen just as much as nature does.
I love it. I love it. So Tammy, share with the audience how they can get in contact with you.
Yes, by email, tammyreesemedia@gmail.com. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tammy Reese Media as well.
Awesome. It's just such a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for sharing and so being open because a lot of times, persons want to get into the media and like you said, they shy away because of the big names, the influencers, the celebrities that persons like yourself have worked with. But it's encouraging to hear that listeners can, once you start your business, definitely seek out Tammy Reese, who can definitely help you to position yourself in the marketplace as far as the media to get the audience to learn more about you and the services that you're offering, right? So thank you so much for that, Tammy. And is there anything else you want to say to the audience?
I just want to say you're an amazing journalist. You're very professional. I felt so comfortable and you are so kind and fun. I had an amazing time and I wish you continued success. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Tammy. And Tammy is calling me a journalist, guys. So I guess I'll add that to the resume. But I am so honored, honestly, truly. Thank you again, Tammy. And guys, definitely reach out to Tammy. Her information will be in the show notes, so you can definitely contact her and tell her Raquel send you her way, right? And so you definitely want to definitely subscribe to this podcast. Leave a review. We want to hear your feedback about this episode. And as always, guys, be good to yourself, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening. If you've loved this episode, let's stay in touch. Head over to raquelwalters.com and subscribe to my email list so that I can send you updates on new episodes, exclusive motivational nuggets, and insider knowledge that's only shared when you join our community. Please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and leave a review, as I want to know your thoughts about every episode. Follow me on Instagram at Your Purpose and Business Podcast. And remember, your life is beautiful and this is a part of your journey. So embrace it. Speak to you soon.